Well, welcome back, everyone, at least for one last set here at the desk. I'm Gormizer, and this one's going to be another fun one. We have Eternity Esports going up against eStorm here for Xbox EU. And to join me on the magical ride that will be this set, I have Kresnik sitting right next to me. And how are you feeling about this one? It's going to be a fun set.
I mean, pretty good. The last two times these teams met up, it was 3-2. So it could be very close.
Oh.
When they were Wasted Potential, before they became Eternity
Back
Esports,
in the day.
trading back and forth, 3-2 to eStorm, then 3-2 to now Eternity. So it could be a really close set across the board. We'll have to see what's changed over time with the new patch.
And that feels like it's just been the history for eStorm. Like, whoever's third and fourth in this region, it's been 5-game sets. Like, that's just been this year, really, for them.
Yeah.
So we'll see if anyone can break the mold. eStorm's actually been looking pretty decent as of late. A couple of the changes they've made, they have probably one of the longest listed amount of players that has been on their team for this split, if you don't count teams that have dropped everybody, picked up new players, but swapping them in and out. And we can kind of see where exactly they stand in all of this as well. They are currently going to be third place. Eternity down there at 1-5. Hype Unit still 6-0. And so they're kind of dominating the region as far as they're concerned.
Yeah, I mean, not too surprising considering how they did last.
Yeah.
Still haven't dropped the map yet. 6 times 3, 18. And Eternity, they only have one win, but it was against who they're going against today. So I don't think that's kind of misleading for the potential of this set.
I'm going to be able to look at it as eStorm kind of having some control over them. I believe one over Classified, one over Eternity here for them. So kind of splitting it down the middle. But that means flip a coin. That's your victor for today. That's who we're going to have to see as to what they do. As Kresnik looks for a coin.
I don't even know why I am, because I don't carry cash ever.
I know. I have a bunch of Costa Rican coins in my wallet because they were really cool when I was there, and so I kept them. But that's
beside the point.
Neither here nor there as to how this is going to be.
Mr. Gore,
important.
just in Costa Rica, decided I'd bring some change back with me.
It's like $2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Maybe. Like, I don't know. It's a bunch of, like, one's a little about a quarter. Either way, this is getting off the point. Yeah. It's going to be eStorm and Eternity going up against each other, and, you know, we might as well just go ahead and kind of jump into it, see what maps are going to be banned out, and then follow up which map we're going to be going to. Shatter Desert, Fish Market, almost the opposite. The last time I was on the desk, it was standard maps. This time around, outside of Frog Isle there, along with Frozen Guard, it is pretty much all the fringe maps. Not all the fringe maps, but a lot of fringe maps kind of taken out of the complex.
Yeah, the heavy rotation around the open point maps. Those are the 3 that are gone. I mean, Frozen, Fish, and Shattered are all gone for that. So that style, nobody wants to play it. And Frog, I think it's kind of shifting more to a fringe map these days, honestly. Teams really don't want to play it as much.
Says the guy who just casted it.
Yeah, you still get it enough, but we're going to go to the standards. We're going to go to Bright Marsh, flat with a small potential for height. A lot of things you can go over on this map if you do have that Drogos, though he did just get a little bit of effectiveness shifted out of Wormjets.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, we're depending on if Drogos comes through or not. You know, this is going to be speculation, but a lot of it has been like Wormjets was pulled to be less effective just at base and still the same effectiveness in his loadout, but you have to commit to it, right?
Yeah, and well, it also they removed the regeneration rate of the booster. So even with like Rain of Fire 5 and all those other resets, survival, you're gonna pretty much have to get a survival. You have to get like a survival reset if you want to stay in the air. You have to get low, and that's dangerous.
Get low, 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 low.
Hopefully, you won't hit the floor. That's kind of the whole point of it,
Maybe
not to hit the floor.
Well, you never know. Maybe he will drop down and once every now and then join the realm of mortals instead of up in the sky gods. But either way, you have Atlas, Talus, Vivian, and Ashe banned away. Ashe is kind of the flavor, I feel like, for this one. But Tyra, Barrick, Genos, all being picked up. Now, this is Tyra as well, with her nerf being picked up. And earlier we saw her running Burn Monster. Do you think that's going to maybe take more precedent?
I hope it doesn't, because I really think it's very easy to avoid. It's annoying when you get chunked as a tank, but the hard counter for Burn Monster is really just legs. You really just walk away.
There's fire over there.
I probably should not stand
to burn.
I mean, it's good against Barrick, and eStorm ended up taking that, so they'll have that for the cripple potential. But again, Barrick has legs, as short and stubby as they may be. He will still be able to get away from the fire.
He's no Inara. He at least has some movement speed under him. Willow, Makoa going to be locked in there. And this is looking like a really good draft from eStorm. I think there's, like you mentioned, you know, with Tyra, maybe a little bit of counterplay, Leon, a little bit of counterplay in there. But it's going to become execution-based. And when it comes down to it, Makoa Willow just tends to hit harder more often than Leon Tyra.
It's going to be fast is the thing. The Willow will jump in with the Makoa at the same time. They'll be able to collapse right away.
Yeah.
That's their potential. They have to get onto that Tyra and not let it happen. And Koga, great ending pick for them too. Ability to cleanse the mark. And it's pretty strong, I think, into those hit scan backlines.
And again, just a little bit of a buff for Koga to make him feel a little better all around.
Yep.
And well, we're going to have to see if he feels as good for Eaststorm as he's felt for some of these other teams today. And we'll just jump down to Brightmarsh.
Thank you, gentlemen. Eternity versus Eaststorm. Me and Dave, the Chair 2 Olsen.
Yeah.
Ready to bring this one to you.
Is that it now? Am I?
For now.
Save the jet for now. For this specific moment. You're not wrong. That's true Chair 1 right there. you are within the realm of 100% correctness. Fun map, though, to look at. Brightmarsh. See a little bit of Koga here today. Something I'm excited to see some more of. Kresnik brings up a good point. The mark cleansing nature of Koga is definitely something to look forward to. Although you then assume that on the opposite side, Mozzie will probably smartly not be putting that mark over on V8 pots too much. Use it on more effective targets. But execution-based is a good way to word it for Gore as well. Makoa and Willow, they got my vote of confidence, at least when we start off.
It looks like Mozzie did leave base with Burn Monster instead of Hunting Party.
They get tested a little bit.
Yes, it was changed. Yes, it was slightly nerfed, but I still think it's a damn strong talent. So we'll have to see. You can make use of the Firebomb to its great effectiveness. Essentially what that does, just burns down the monsters, a.k.a. your Makoas, your Barracks. First blood goes to Pots. Not even from, you know, a real flank perspective. He's kind of poking out from mid-range here. Just managing to find a home for a lot of these submachine gun bullets. Working his way through Khan's shield, dashing even further into the back line. Just losing that one pick has caused Eternity Esports to want to cede a lot of Brightmarsh over to Eaststorm.
It's a big role he's going to have to fill, this mid-range area. You have Willow, who plays a little further back, hits some of those pot shots through. Pots does some of that on his own, though. And Koga's, you know, in a flexible enough spot. He can do this, run up on you, hit some of those good shots, but also peel back just a little bit. Off to a great start here, Eaststorm. Eternity just has not been able to move forward.
Getting it done with the water guns, and I love all of these summer weapons. So good. Finally, V8 Pots. He's going to dry up here. His streak goes back to base, and the first payload of the game is going to go to Eaststorm. No ultimates needed. That was a pretty quick, clean capture, as the first ultimates do still come up now. Fae Flight, Time and Space, of course, being the first two.
There's your crossfire on the backside as well. That's going to rip through Holy Shot just enough to clean up the Makoa. Counted as an execute ultimate. And that's a split second where you can see a slight change in the amount of damage. Of course, the Fire Monster is kind of what we brought up with Tyra before going into this game. And I think it certainly has its merits depending on how mobile the front lines on Eaststorm are in this case. I mean, I quite literally think they are mobile enough that they might not get the full rotation of the firebomb through.
I agree.
I think they'll be able to get out of it, and I agree with the point that you brought up. I think that, you know, despite being changed, that Hunting Party is still so strong, even if it's slightly less. More of a good thing can never be a bad thing. So maybe that changes as we round about here. Lots of good angles to throw that firebomb onto. But I haven't quite seen that overwhelming effectiveness just yet.
People stacking up here pretty nice and clean. Brock might be looking for the rotation to get the angle on his Time and Space. Ancient Rage looks like it's going to do enough, evening up the score here. 2 for 2 when it's all said and done. This battle is raging on. Koga might go down here. Slippery as he is, can be caught out from time to time, especially if you're not careful where you're burning these dashes. He dashes his final dash onto the payload out in the open, and naturally is killed there.
As mobile as Koga can be, unfortunately, you got a few charges of those. That was a front line for back line trade there for Eaststorm, where they had some of their damage dealers up, but didn't have their Barrack, didn't have their Makoa, and that's so much of that space that's now lacking. You can't quite follow up on any of that, whereas Eternity, you still have Khan, you still have Inara, who both can do a pretty decent amount of damage and somewhat hard to melt through if you're Eaststorm. So good trades there from Eternity, stalls this one out. Still a chance to push it through, but plenty of distance to cover if you're Eaststorm.
Definitely going to be an overtime here, as you can see everyone from Eaststorm creeping up. A hook lands, short one, onto Khan. No deaths as a result. See Eternity Esports just backing up plenty of ultimates online for either team. Usually the offense has to kick this one off. I haven't seen any time and spaces come out from Brockus, even though he's had some pretty good angles here. He's got a lot of people bunched up here in the back. That's what I'd look to kick this one off with.
I look for Pau to have some big damage here. Might go into the Faith Flight. He will. The dead zone might have a huge impact here towards the end if they fight around that grove.
Don't throw it. Don't even bother throwing a seedling up there. I mean, it's just a waste of time that you could be left-clicking while you have unlimited ammo. 1 for 1 so far. Makoa is trying to surge in, but does not have Ancient Rage, so still has to play this fight carefully. Everybody's starting to run out of gas. Genos is certainly not the healer to quickly juice you back to full HP. He's going to start you off with a nice little lead with that hot and some damage amp, but beyond that, it's up to you to win the fight.
This is where those trades were just quite literally better for Eternity. They lost a couple of their damage dealers, but Khan kind of flexes back and forth in that range where, yeah, he's an aggressive off tank with a pretty beefy health pool at 4,400 for him, but he can kind of hover his way, not at the moment, down towards the bottom of the damage charts, but 4-1 and 5, he's doing a good job. Juicy is of confirming some of those kills, and their frontliners have been the ones that have been staying alive just a little bit longer, and that's allowed them to, well, survive just a little bit longer. Eaststorm, on the flip side, have been losing their frontliners at the beginning of those fights, and Makoa is such a presence, such a facilitator for the rest of the fight. If you don't have that presence opening the door for your Koga, opening the door for your Willow, you lose a lot of the effectiveness there.
Seismic Crash traded out for time and space, neither, frankly, getting much of anything. Crossfire's going to surge to the back line here. Makoa just barely able to stay alive for the Crossfire, dies instantly thereafter to Leon. And Overpower is going to be fired off, but it will miss. Now Khan trying to take on Koga. This has been a pretty, consistent 1v1, I think, across this first game, and gets one. A little charity, a little gift. G-Pan Velocity stumbles into the Cyclone Strike and loses his life for it. All of a sudden, Eaststorm, by the grace of RNG, have just found themselves in a much better place.
That's a nice, effective 1-for-0. Overpower is very inconsistent throughout the day. Not even just one specific team, but just seem to have been missing more often than hitting. Not the easiest ability to hit, but certainly not the hardest. First pick goes on to Dishonor. That's a big loss for Eaststorm as we approach the final seconds.
I'll say it, man, these Fae fights have just been bad. There's been a lot of targets to do a lot of damage to, but Pau has just got to hit more of these shots. These people aren't even moving that fast. They're not really even burning movement abilities to get out of the way or out of harm's way. Just have to be better there. A couple of kills do go the way of Eaststorm, and it looks like they will pull it out regardless. Time and space puts a nice little cherry on top of this team fight.
That's that point blank through time and
buddy.
space. Quite literally could not have missed that one. 208 for him. I mean, big uptime on the Genos. He hasn't died off just yet. Not the most surprising healer, honestly, to see Undying. I mean, it's always hard to escape a game without a single death, but just the way Genos plays, doesn't always have to have those clear sight lines. Has a little bit of mobility in his kit as well. Brock is certainly making good use of it. A little morale boost, a little Chronos, nothing too surprising item-wise there. But you're right in mentioning the Fae Flight. This is where, honestly, Willow's more comfortable, even more than the mids. When everyone has to kind of fight out in the open when the payload gets close, that's when you would expect these Fae Flights to really start hitting home. Just hasn't quite yet.
Everybody very, very low as well when you're looking at Eternity Esports. That's a good dead zone there. Juicy finds the first kill, though. Whirlwind was already spent. If there was a Fae Flight, a Cyclone Strike, something to get this one going, I think everybody was low HP, bunched up in the back. That could have been a devastating blow. The 8 pots is going to have to do just without his Makoa for the time being. I think he's diving in there for it. Does he actually land any of this damage? Grover, again, will fall into it, but not enough, not soon enough for that to actually be lethal. The 8 pots has effectively zoned everyone back out into this corner, so frankly, just because of that alone, I would say it's worth it.
Absolutely, they're forced back. There hasn't been quite the big sweeping follow-up from that. That was a one-person zoning out, 3-4 members of Eternity. Here the Fae Flight starts off, so looking for more of it. 1 kill on a G-Pen would be better than maybe what we've seen on the rest. Good healing from the Grovers going to stop that, and another Fae Flight goes missing.
Pretty much. Crossfire behind the con shield, trying to counter out Ancient Rage as best he possibly can. Burn Monster will pull some weight there. There's the stars aligning finally on that talent. Pal makes sure the trade is worthwhile for his squad. Time and Space comes up dry. Nobody, a couple targets close, to be fair. It wasn't wide out. 30 seconds on the clock, though, is going to make this one tough for Eaststorm. They're running out of resources.
Yeah.
All they've got is Dome Shield, and I'm not sure they're going to be too excited to spend their last remaining ultimate before the next round's mid-fight.
Eternity do use the Whirlwind Crossfire just a moment ago as well. That's a big defensive ultimate from Eternity. You know, if a pick starts to come out, Mozzie with the first kill onto Pal, make it 3 now, big triple kill for your Tyra. Certainly seals this one up. But you look at that Whirlwind around 50%. It is relatively quickly charging, so it's not something that's going to be down for way too long. But depending on how they want to fight, if they want to get hyper-aggressive or on the opposite side, Eaststorm gets very aggressive. You're not going to have that kind of peel backwards. But use one of your ultimates, secure yourself the defense. Can't blame them for that. I think this is a good rotation from Brockus through time and space. Right at the end of this engagement, not sure if we'll see it, but hey, he stayed alive the entire game. It's a good dodge of the Enlightenment. And catches the through time and space. Wasn't quite point blank, but certainly not far away.
That would have been pretty nice. If that Khan was alive, he probably would have got hit by that as well. I think that's what more or less what he was lining that up for.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to be directly aimed at that Inara, who was already still exposed to fire from his teammates. Great stuff all around, though, I think, from the Genos player as we head into one of the middle rounds here. Items starting to shake out as well, starting to hit that level 3 mark. Plenty of ultimates on either side here as Eaststorm look for the initial aggression with this Koga. Cyclone Strike, 3 targets in the corner. Lots of immunity, lots of healing coming in, though. It's still worthwhile. It was too good to miss the mark. Too many people forced into the corner. Again, VA Potts kind of displaying the zoning potential, if anything, of the new Cyclone Strike. This was buffed to give Koga just, to make him a little bit safer.
I'm surprised that if you're Eternity, you're fighting that bunched up without knowing exactly where Koga is. I mean, around the side there, and if nothing else, they do end up sweeping the rest of the team fight. But now you look at the ultimates, some of them had to burn as a result. Enlightenment most notably saved the life of G-Pan just for a second. Now they don't have that for the retake attempt. Clipping some damage with this through time and space. They do lose their Makoa. Could be a big turnaround.
Well, Dome Shield's going to eat up most of Crossfire, but that expires. Does the job of keeping Tyra at base. 78% to 15 as the first kill goes down. Great wall from Inara to keep Barrack locked into the Thunderdome. The cause of his demise is clear. 82% on Ancient Rage. That is the next closest ultimate to be charged, and it's a big one. I think Eaststorm are going to need to use it and find full value for it.
Might not give him the chance. That's a big overpower onto Potts. 60% for Eternity, fighting at a 5v4 advantage. Everyone from Eaststorm forced back, but losing her Inara, that's a lot of point contention that's now missing.
Take this high ground here. Willow's moving around. This is a great opportunity for her to get involved. A lot of stacks of Blast Flower starting to add up. Great dead zone on a Khan. No healing for him. And Eaststorm with that early lead, just able to capitalize. Small little skirmish win is all it took for them to get the third payload of the game.
Big fight there from Pau. I mean, tough game, and we really put a microscope on the Faith Lights. Not a lot of them, really hitting the mark. But towards the end of that mid, I think the Willow had a really great fight, sealed up a few kills there towards the end, gets himself the 5 streak. And now, you put your team at a 3 versus 2 advantage. You got a couple more tries at the mid. They've been able to get very close with a lot of these. A nice double snipe from Brockus might be what they need for their first push of the game.
That's a great way to crack it open, Dave. And with a 3-2 scoreline on the board, Eaststorm could end it all here. They've got 2 more ultimates in their back pocket. That's what you look for. A great performance all game long, but that's the cherry on top, or in this case, the nail in the coffin for Eternity Esports. They have to fight out of their spawn, back down into the Shark's Den. 1 minute 30 on the clock. This payload does not need all of it unless there's a great contest here. I don't see any way that Eternity Esports comes out on the other side. Willow gets up there for probably the most effective Faith Flight of the game. And Inara falls. And with it does the chance at game 1. Eaststorm claim it. Great job there. And great job, I think, to Brockus. He's my MVP of game 1.
Yeah, big turnaround. It didn't end up undying. But anytime you're in those low single-digit deaths on a healer, you always have to give props through time and space. Found one kill, some plug damage throughout, but then a big double kill through time and space towards the end. Because they were having a very hard time kind of cracking that choke point corner. Nothing quite like a double snipe to just kick down the door. We're going to fight 5v3 and end this game.
I love it, man. Willow, if you're not going to get it done, let me handle this. Cracks home a double kill for the win. Great stuff there.
Plenty of damage.
Plenty of damage across the board for sure. A lot of healing as well from Genos. Not nearly as much as what Bandmade was able to provide. Some of that is stacked nature of the composition. Not a lot of mobility. You know, there's no Koga that's like diving around. Everybody's usually always in range of Grover.
Right.
As well as just having that Anar, right? She's got natural healing amp in her base kit.
And, you know, as much as we harped on Pal on the Willow, top damage in the game, 136,000. So, you know, the ultimates maybe go by the wayside, but the damage was certainly there.
Yeah.
Plenty of space to kind of spread all that out. 5, 6, and 12. Potts, though, on this Koga was, you know, maybe the biggest difference maker aside from Brackus as well at 5, 1, and 19. That duo was enough to really propel eStorm forward. The frontliners, you know, the slash lines weren't horrible, but they had a tough game on some of those pushes, but controlled some of that close area. I agree, though. I think Koga at 11, 4, and 10, you know, that duo with Genos was just enough to get eStorm over the finish line.
Well, nice quick little flank there. Everybody wanting to push apartments, which in concept is right. He burns so much. Battle Shout, Enlightenment, all of that was used just to stay alive, which is, while it only results in one kill directly, it's a ton of defensive utility that Potts baits out, and great stuff from that Cyclone Strike. There was a couple of Cyclone Strikes, frankly, that didn't get a lot of kills, but accomplished a lot of other things.
And absolutely showing. I mean, they make some changes to Cyclone Strike, as you point out, and honestly, Koga's in a fine spot where in the right composition, we've seen him kind of forced a little bit today. I think our second set was the back-to-back triple DPS, and Koga was picked up in both of those. And it wasn't horrible, but in a situation like that where he's able to kind of move forward, there is some follow-up for him in a lot of those fights. That's where I think this change to Koga can actually make some headway.
Well, if Console can with Koga, Console will. That's game one, ladies and gentlemen. A quick break separates you in game two.
Respawn, the official gaming chair of the Paladins Console League.
Well, eStorm are able to clinch this one out, although it does seem pretty contested early on. But again, that doesn't say too much. The history of these teams, as we had said earlier, is, well, 1-3-2, 1-3-2, both kind of clashing against each other. We had equated it to a coin flip as to who could win today, and I believe Kresnik is actually ready to flip a coin and almost drop the coin.
Looks like it might be eStorm's turn.
Might be eStorm's turn,
just
to win?
Yeah.
Did you actually choose one side to mean the other, or is it just no matter which one came up was
No,
eStorm?
I panicked because I almost missed it, and I just said eStorm no matter what side. I didn't even actually look at the side. I'm going to be completely real with you.
It looked like a Tails to me, and they were on that side then, so I'm going to give it to them as of right now. Now, though, I think we're going to end up seeing these swap. They take map 1 on Brightmarsh, so let's go ahead and see where we're going next as we move on to Jag Falls. So as far as maps are concerned, pretty similar in play styles.
Both very standard. I think neither team really wants to go too out of the box quite yet. Better safe pick, more flat. A lot of options, so a lot of flexibility. So if they do have something in the pocket, this is definitely the map to bring it out on.
Yeah, definitely to see what happens. Koga has been the talk of the town today, and, well, I wouldn't be surprised to see him here if he's not banned. Same thing could be. I mean, we saw Moji earlier.
Yeah.
Possible to see Moji on Jag Falls, so we'll have to see what happens as time moves forward. But so far, Genos, Tyra, Talus, I think now contemplating the Atlas ban potentially, and we'll take care of him there for eternity. So pretty standard bans all around. Tyra maybe being the odd one out, but she had a pretty all right showing.
Yeah, I would say I don't think it was too crazy, but I do actually like it. You mentioned it. I wanted to mention it when you said it. The resurgence of Koga coming back. It was already kind of in the console scene, but now that he has an ultimate, basically, we're going to see him a lot more. He can actually get away with using the ultimate in kind of a worse situation. Before, it had to be like the perfect setup, but now you can be a little bit more flexible with it. But eStorm going with the standard. Victor first pick for console. Very strong, but Ashe and Vivian is a really good aggressive start for Eternity.
Now I'm going to play a game just based across all of our leagues as to any champions that don't get played. You know, well, right now, technically, Torvald, rip in peace, but we're happy with that. Dredge is really the only one. Between him and Amani are the ones I think I see the least. Him, Amani, and Io as I go on. Because, I mean...
Androxus.
Lex, I guess, as time goes on. Andro has been a little lesser as of late. But they all had their time in the light, except for, well, Io and Dredge. And Amani. Well, Amani had her time in the light. So they're all fine. Leave them off behind as we come through. Victor and Nara Furia. Ashe, Vivian, Leon, and Fernando. So this is another question I can throw to you as a tank main yourself. How do like the changes to Fernando and his shield, like, do they really escalate him up as high as we've seen him prioritize?
Here's the thing, not really against Khan, because his shield's still going down. I mean, he'll have it back faster so we can recontest the point, but better than Barrack? I don't think so. It really has to be a map where you're going to get maximum value from the Immortal. Jag is definitely one where you can, but it's so much easier to execute with the Barrack. Barrack has so much more discrete survivability. Nando's not bad, but I think that might be the point. He's probably the point tank for when you really want to take it to them, when you really want to be aggressive, and that could work with this comp. Grover, Vivian, Ashe, they can just walk in with that Nando.
See if he's going to be able to do it. The biggest thing you have to avoid is Khan grabbing you, though, because once he does, that shield's gonzo, and you have to wait for the cooldown. So we'll see if Eternity can make it work this time around, or if eStorm are going to be able to kind of assert dominance with Khan, not Ashe, and win this map.
Thank you so much, boys, and now we get to see just a couple more of those balance changes perhaps playing out in the PCL. Plenty of screen time for Koga today. A couple of instances of Fernando, but I have to say, just, you know, reading the change, I'm not still jumping at the chance to play Fernando, personally.
No, I mean, I think, you know, he's in a similar spot. I think he doesn't necessarily move up or down very much tier list-wise. Apparently
Look
Victor
at the speed.
Is a gymnast.
Look at the athleticism.
Violent speed momentum. He's got it all.
Yikes. What is that? Emo?
Is he canceling? Is he canceling mid-emote? I'm not sure.
No idea.
At any rate, 10 out of 10 for me.
Pal's got it going on.
Or something. They're going to be fighting around this Grover. I think you're right. I don't think he shifts too far up or down. I mean, technically a little bit up, but I'm still not jumping at the chance, as you put it. He's fine in certain scenarios. Immortal still is an ult with a high potential to find some really good value. And they'll be able to fight behind him relatively well. But you have to be very mindful. They pointed it out on the desk, the shield kind of cooldowns, rotating that against a Khan for eStorm here. It's going to be an interaction to keep your eyes on throughout the game. Both teams kind of starting spread out here, though. Gets the commander's grab. That's where Fernando now can't bring his shield back up because it's back on cooldown.
Yep, that's the interaction the old desk highlighted for us. Holy shot. Opens up not one, but 2 kills there for Willow. Very easy cleanup for V8 Pots. Not played by Pal this time. Pal will be on the Victor. We'll switch up there notably. Some champion flexibility, versatility, whatever word you want to use for it. They've got it going on here. Early capture lead, big in favor of eStorm. 75-24, first barrage of the game. One of the most commonly first charged ultimates here in the PCL. But despite all that, the kill feed continues to fill up red. Eternity Esports do get back on the objective and will have a chance at this first payload.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, there's still a Vivian Leon for Eternity Esports, which is a huge damage potential duo. Get themselves to 84%. Good wall is going to block off, you know, the escape just a little bit, but 99, they're not able to get in range, get a touch, and first point goes over to Eternity.
Even with that inflame, I thought that was going to be enough.
Yeah.
You know, I think Dishonor prioritized trying to wall off the enemy Fernando instead of touching the objective, and then the part to me that showed the indecision was he was halfway there when the payload was captured.
Sure.
Like you would have made it if you went all in, but you didn't choose to go all in from the get-go.
Could be a good assert dominance as well. Drops it down, stuns up a couple. Payload getting very close, and now Esports without a healer.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them, and this is a very, very different Eternity Esports. We are seeing surge forward with aggression into the base of Esports, and a shoulder bash kill from mid-range is going to be good for yet another one. That's 3. Now respawning actively 2 now, as Furia will be back up, but no frontliners. That's the key factor here.
Yeah.
Both frontliners dead. Inara just now respawning on her big cat. Back towards the objective. Khan will respawn as well. A barrage to try and get this one rooted. Every ultimate is hitting the wall. We'll see what sticks so far. A kill for either side. A grenade goes out as it looks like Esports rack up their second. But again, answered back. These trades, however, always in favor of the defending team, whose spawn is right there.
Gonna just try to stagger out Leon as best as possible. And
You'll never take me alive. Look at that.
The slow
kill
burn.
volume on Jaguar Falls needs to come up.
There's
just so many awkward
slide all the way down.
Yeah, these rocky just.
Yeah, but then we don't get the beautiful
Plinko deaths.
MSI moment of
No, we
Excentra
don't.
booping the wall up underneath.
We don't. That was awesome.
And it was kind of nuts.
I can probably say with confidence that'll be the best Inara wall play ever. The mechanical nature of it.
I don't disagree.
The desperation.
I wouldn't have even thought of it. I'm thinking, all right, I'm dead.
The gravity of that game, like all the boxes are ticked there. That's probably going to be one of the greatest Inara plays of all time.
Certainly won't be Leon sliding off the map towards the end. Juicy's had a great time controlling this front line. It's been why Eternity has, made up so much ground. Big overpower gets rid of the Ashe, and with 20 seconds left, they're able to melt down this front line. Things get a lot more difficult. Esports in a great spot right now to try to tie this one up.
Well, last 10 seconds to do so. Early overpower, though. I think Ashe is going to be back. There is definitely going to be an overtime. You can see Fernando floating right there next to the payload. Finds the first frag, and here comes Ashe right as overtime starts. So that man advantage basically meant nothing. The overtime is going very well, I think, for the offense until Holy Shot shuts it down. Barrage finds a lot of damage, no kills. The kills fall extremely quickly thereafter, though. Holy Shot. I want to change a letter there as he finds his 3rd. My goodness, my man is popping on this con.
Talk about the way these frontliners are starting to control this game. I mean, the reason that payload was so close was a big aggressive play from Juicy, and the reason the payload didn't go in is because of this man here. Holy Shot now has, I think, 2 triple kills throughout this game. And that's what they were kind of highlighting on the desk. What we've brought up here, this is a composition where Khan doesn't have a lot of true predators. As long as he's playing, out of the sight line of Leon, trying to stay away from Vivian, playing around the rest of his team at 7-2-5. I don't know who's dealing with this Victor, this Khan, excuse me. I guess Fat Victor. If he continues to position himself the way he is, he's going to win that 1v1 engagement with Fernando basically every time.
Great matchup against Ashe as well.
Yeah.
As long as Holy Shot continues to play well, I don't even have to say matchups. Every matchup for him is going to be pretty decent. Quick up down here with the assert dominance. Already good for one. Make it 2. Quick turnaround. Looking for a 3rd, if not a 4th. There's 3 for Ashe. She just needs a couple of more. There's the quadra kill, surging forward.
Give it to him.
Wants to get the pentakill, but it's Inara. Just doesn't have the damage.
No.
The multi-kill timer has certainly timed
give
out,
it to him.
but that is the clean ace for Juicy. All 5 members of Esports lying dead and broken at his feet.
And 5 streak for the Ashe. 5 kills, 5 streak. Why not? Unofficial penta. If you needed more footage for the frontliners in this game, there's one more. Good Faith Flight actually could turn it around. Not much to fight back from.
Wow, that actually worked.
Eternity here. Dives straight on in there. Not enough damage to clean him up just yet. Maybe one more shot.
What do
Pal
you
comes in
mean?
to save the day.
I don't believe this, Dave.
Disastrous for Eternity.
How did that work?
Oh, no.
That's the first kills. Those are the first kills V8 Pots has gotten this entire game. Those are his first 2 kills, just absolutely foreheading his way down onto the objective. I cannot believe that works. After the play that Juicy made, Eternity Esports are really going to let this one slide. Come on, bro.
It's about to as well. Next Pal digs his heels in, finds some shots. Overpower just seals this one up. Immortal baited out as well, and actually could time out some kills on the back end of the Immortal could actually get the payload moving forward. I mean, Eternity, you get a beautiful play from your Ashe. eStorm still had some good ultimates, and as you know, hit or miss, more miss than hit as the Faithlights have been this series. That was a big one from Potts. Soars right in, finds the Grover first of all, so no more healing left for Eternity. Everyone else just crumbles under the weight of Victor towards the end.
A lot of stacking happening. I was going to say Seismic Crash looks like it could be a good option. Fernando face tanks it. That's best case scenario. Nobody else gets stunned, and a lot of healing and damage is able to come in and supplement, bail him out. I mean, Fernando doesn't have a lot of options, doesn't have a lot of utility, but what he does have is a big old body to just put in front of danger for the boys. And you know what? That's really the heart and soul of Fernando. He might have a simple kit. He might not have more than one mechanic per ability. His abilities might be called exactly what they do because they're that simple, and it's the only way to describe them. But I'll be damned if I come out of this cast not gassing my boy Fernando a little bit for having some damn heart.
He's a little gas, that's for sure, because aside from catching a Seismic Crash, he's kind of fallen by the wayside to Holy Shot on eStorm. Assert Dominance doesn't quite hit the same mark this time, and V8 Potts, another good Faithlight. Unfortunately, your boy catches death there as FaZe trades out 1 for 1.
There it is. Enlightenment runs into Khan's face, but he's just so big, so bad, he doesn't even care. Huge heal from the Battle Shout and from Fury at the same time. 1,200 more HP to work with. So much in the way of Holy Shot this game, man. He has just controlled everyone. Nobody could stand before Khan. The matchups are too good for him. Letting this pick go, or maybe picking Fernando that early, seems to have been a bit of a mistake.
Here's your delayed penta, as we'll call it. Gets an official quadra kill. Lots of good shots. The Assert Dominance locks up a couple. And maybe an unfortunate wall. I think Brockus was hoping to kite backwards. I'm not sure he would have made it to safety anyway. And then, you know, if it's anyone else, any smaller health pool that says pentakill on the screen just a couple seconds sooner. Big play there from Juicy, but that's really all Eternity have to hang their hat on. Aside from that 5 kills, you're looking at a 5, 6, and 4 Ashe.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to take it within context. It's a great play, but the rest of the game for eStorm has just really been easy. I mean, the 3 people that you want on streaks are your aggressive off-tank and Holy Shot, X-Pow in the back line, then your healer staying alive. It's a perfect storm for eStorm. Damn, I'm good.
Well, they need one more here to get it done, and to not put away the set, but to put away game 2 at the very least. Another great Commander's grab here. Out of the frying pan, straight into the firing line of Victor, and I can be right there with you, Dave. You want to swing for the fences?
Oh, no.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
We're in it. I mean, Fat Victor follows around, or getting followed around by actual Victor, and that's all she wrote. Pentakill from Juicy, not enough to seal up more than 1 point for them. And it's the perfect storm. You get Holy Shot, I'll raise the shield, do some damage.
You're not trying to milk that pun a second time, are you?
No, can't do it.
Good, good. All right, I mean, that was great stuff there from both sides. Seeing the ace was just not enough, though. I think the overwhelming amount of clips and evidence we have of Holy Shot just locking down that one. Whenever you can get that type of lockdown performance, a guy like Powell and Victor's, he's going to be able to sit there for free and just go to work. And you can't buy a whole lot of time in the open field against Victor. It's just not going to pan out.
No, it's like the basis of Paladins. You get your backliner to follow around one of your frontliners, and if they're able to do that, especially when the frontliner is a Khan, who's able to do 58,000 damage. I mean, Powell running far away with top damage in the game, 30,000 over anyone else, pushing, you know, mid-30s. But second top damage in the team goes to Holy Shot, and he was, you know, 3rd, 4th mark in that one. Max streak, of course, to Brockus, and that's that 1, 2, 3 I talk about. Holy Shot can open the door, X-Pow can run through the door, Brockus can stay alive, do some healing. That was just a very clean, very effective team fight there, or game overall from eStorm. Potts found some good kills, largely, though, Victor, Khan, Furia. That's where you got to look.
Vic and thick Vic. And Vic that heals. That's the best way to put it here.
Yeah, I guess, right?
In the PCL. Holy Shot. Great performance there, but Pow putting a lot of holes and a lot of targets. The thing I liked, I think, the most is the comment that, you know, not having the most damage in the game, but that slash line, meaning that damage that Khan is doing is usually translating into a kill. Whether it be for Pow, whether it be for Holy Shot, it doesn't really matter. Those two played off each other very, very nicely. A lot of good barrages as well.
Agreed.
Kind of almost in line of what Potts was able to do with Cyclone Strike last game. They don't always get all the kills, but they really banged up a lot of different targets, made for some very easy cleanup. He set up a lot of kills for his Khan. His Khan set up a lot of kills for him. It's a symbiotic relationship here, people. Everyone's just trying to grab the win at the end of the day.
Is that the double positive one? I forget those. The three. Parasitic is like negative and even, or negative and positive. I forget all of them, but the two positives for them. Two big thumbs up from me, and way to seal out game number 2.
Thank you guys for sticking along with us. We've got potentially one more game here. We'll see if eStorm are able to close it out on the other side of this break.
The Paladins Console League is brought to you by Evil Mojo Games, developers of Paladins.
All eStorm do it once again, this time as they control the flow of that map. Jaguar Falls and Bright Marsh both in the books and close the logs. And eStorm are just looking poised to potentially take this one.
Yeah, Eternity definitely have to take them to a different style of map. I think they had the potential. I mean, that second retake from eStorm at the last second was really close, but I think they just need to go maybe to a wider map, more open, more verticality. Somewhere that they can kind of play something different, because it really seems to be right in eStorm's wheelhouse.
Yeah, and so far, I think that's going to be the question mark. Where do they want to go? It is going to be Eternity Esports' option to choose the map as the loser here, so we'll get to see where exactly they're going to go. Stone Keep. So as far as standards go, it's still in that list I like to keep, as Frog Isle maybe has to leave there since we see it disappear so often. It's still one of the standards of the maps, though, in my heart. Even if not in actuality, is what I was trying to say there, as the bans are going to be coming through. But, I mean, eStorm seem to have a few of these things on lock, and it's close. Like, you can see Eternity are kind of right there with them, but eStorm's just outperforming them in the moments that are necessary. I mean, Eternity were able to pick up essentially a Penta last game.
Yeah, more or less, and they're actually not taking out any of the damage. They only took out Tyra for damage, so Geno's still on the table if they want to have that, be able to spread that, make their carries a little stronger, but Io instead going to be the first pick for Eternity.
Did they hear me last desk? Where I'm sitting here saying these are like the 4 champions that don't get picked off, and they're like,
well, okay, if they continue with like Dredge and Droxus, maybe, but
yeah, but
for now.
Io, Dredge, and Droxus, that sounds like a great team, Kresnik. Let's lock it in right now.
Oh. I see you. You've been match made into my casuals recently.
I am the casuals.
Genos Barrack on the other side.
It's my secret.
Great start. I mean, that looks like the start of a PC draft. Barrack, the best point tank to be paired with Genos because of his crazy damage and the sustain he already has. So that boost is really strong.
The only thing I'd give him maybe would be if a Willow was there instead of a Genos. That'd be just as strong, but with Genos, it's going to be perfectly fine. Io, Vivian, and Makoa going a little earlier this time around here for Eternity. I'm gonna, ignore the next couple picks and bans for you for a second. What about Io? Like, is there any reason in your mind you can think to first pick her? I mean, she's gone largely unnoticed lately.
First pick? Maybe later, but I don't really see the benefit she would bring. I mean, the benefit she has, of course, is being able to pocket someone with that damage reduction, right? But picking her first when the rest of your draft hasn't been decided kind of puts you in one thing. You're kind of just shoehorning yourself into that draft when maybe they could just counterpick you as time goes on, get some kind of execution like the con they've already gotten, and just get rid of whatever you pocket, and then your heals just go to the wayside.
Well, it's going to be Io, Vivian, Makoa, Bomb King, Ash up against Genos, Barrack, Leon, Khan, Drogas. I'm going to ask you, looking at these, does E-Storm end it here? Does Eternity fight back a little harder?
2 execution ultimates into a pocket comp? Yeah, I think E-Storm take it here.
Well, Kresnik's got E-Storm. We'll have to see if they can shake it out here. We're going down to Stone Keep for what could be the last game.
Well, I also got some buffs today. We'll see if that can help with this implication. I think a little bit, but you have to think about the argument the Des made. 2 executes to a pocket healer.
You can't heal through a Dragon Punch, unfortunately. Only Immortality will do that for you, and that's not in the cards here for Eternity. Depending on what Io is running, it's kind of been between that damage reduction and the 300 HPS heal. Looks like they're going to opt for lifelink. So, you'll still get some of the pocket healing as well. Maybe you just stick the Wolf on the point to try to contest throughout the game. Maybe
it's a Fox, Dave.
Maybe that forces the Fox onto the point for the rest of the game. You're right. You're saving me from a lot there, I'm sure. And I think Io certainly has her spot. A lot of times we see her in kind of that hybrid. She plays on an off-healer role with somebody a little bit more consistent for her in there.
Yeah.
Look at her loadout.
Look at this. I mean, 60% on the objective, and they were able to take a 5v5 team fight. You got to play what you drafted, and so far, Eternity have done that. They didn't win the fight, but that's the advantage I think Io. I don't know why you need to run lifelink if that's what you're going to do. If you're just going to throw it off onto the objective, that doesn't really make a lot of sense to run lifelink. You can just use literally anything else.
Yeah, unless you're sending somebody down there.
But who am I, Dave?
To contest. You are not an Io player. That's at least right now in this exact game. That's a good first blood in this re-engage onto Potts. Dishonor though stays alive. Eternity trying to come back into it, but the frontline presence. Dishonor's just been free and clear to control that front line down at the bottom. Just not enough throughput for Eternity to keep their frontliners alive.
Well, Luna goes down, a very haphazard back off to the objective, or Lunar Leap, excuse me. And now it looks like E-Storm will be able to capture this first one away. A valiant effort. The idea is right in terms of throwing the Fox, take that clean 5v5, and you don't even have to get super aggressive. I think if you kind of poke out and drag that fight out as long as you can, try to prevent a decisive outcome, literally one way or the other, even if you're losing, if you can just drag it out, you're getting more and more and more value from Luna capturing the objective.
Yeah, and then that brings up the talent selection. I mean, you throw her on the point, unless your team is going to be trying to fight around that, then you just have the base kit from Io trying to do some healing, which is fine, but, trying to keep a Makoa as well as an Ash, as well as, everyone on your team alive through that. Too tough. G-Pan choosing his time to strike, selects correctly, gets the first kill onto Potts.
And Eagle has lost its wings today. One of the hardest hitting King Bombs I think I've ever seen. Somebody get dredge anchored into the King Bomb. That's tough.
Yeah, you're sad about that one. If you catch that rotation, there's no smiles to be had there.
Ooh, somebody's getting overpowered right now. It sounded like it did connect. I think it's Ash way in the back line as Leon chips and chips and chips away at that large health pool. They are able to get it off the back of that 700 damage dunk. Luna up here on the and Makoa's hitting the sumo emote right now as he hits another pretty clutch dredge anchor.
This is a good spot for the Fox to be. They can actually fight around the Fox now, and when you're not solely relying on him to contest the point, it actually makes some sense. And Makoa and Bomb King fighting together on the top rope there. They're just going to get passively healed while Io can kind of focus her attention elsewhere, hanging out in the back of their team. So this is where, depending on where you place the Fox, it does make some good sense.
And it is a pretty strong heal.
Yeah.
Genos and Dombar are priced somewhere, I think, around the 230 to 250 HPS. The Fox is 300, so definitely a solid heal to be throwing out in an area of effect somewhere the entire time. But Goddess Blessing has been the more popular choice, I think, so far. A lot of weird talent selections in this one. Full commit here from Potts. He gets under trouble and then hooked up and into harm's way. So far, his last 3 deaths have been directly credited to a solid dredge anchor from Juicy.
Juicy coming off a game with an unofficial pentakill, looking to keep his team into this one. Hook from the high ground does not connect. Still a chance for Esports to dash in and contest. They're not going to elect to go that route. Good defense there from Eternity. A better look at Io, honestly, on the defensive side when the Fox isn't kind of being shoehorned into that point cap role. The team can fight around it. Definitely works a little bit better.
I think if you're Drogos there and you want a full commit, I think you could easily go all the way around the left-hand side, kind of almost like you're about to jump off the map, and you just kind of hover and you use your thrust instead of like thrusting out into the middle of nowhere, right? You can thrust below the line of sight of your enemies and kind of, use your Dragon Punch or maybe just spacebar your way back up onto the map and kind of, surprise, I'm here now. But definitely an interesting choice to thrust directly into harm's way.
Yeah, Potts has had a tough go of things here at 2, 4, and 3. Honestly, the most deaths on Esports. 3 people still undying for Esports. Holy shot only with 1. So
drop a Dome Shield on that.
On the Drogos. Through time and space goes just wide. Dome Shield does end up
I like
coming out
that.
on the back
I
staircase.
like Dome Shield does good damage too. So like I'm here for that. You can throw 4 people under a Dome Shield in a corner. You have my blessing to go ahead and go on that one. G-Pan Velocity manages to slap Potts out of the sky during that Dragon Punch, and Potts managing to somehow find a way to die in a dominant team fight there. My man is struggling here on the Drogo. Struggled on the Willow, too. That was not a very good performance from what is a very dominant character in the meta right now on a very good map for her.
There were some bright spots, but the slash line was not one of them towards the end. 78% for Esports. Shell Spin for Juicy, getting them back in range. Not a lot to try to retake. King Bomb, though, is something that's going to get thrown out.
There it is, and it will connect at least on the con. 2 more bombs. Solid damage. But I don't know if this is going to be damage. Bomb King is going to be able to convert into a kill there. Nice dropping frags from Pow. Beautiful triple kill. Using essentially everything in the kit there. You love to see it.
He's at a 14 streak now, still undying throughout this game. He was immortal as well, so he's 11, 0, and 3. And again, the only person effectively being killed on cooldown here, and I hate to harp on one specific player, especially when their team is very close to winning the game in the set.
It's just so strange, though, the stuff he's
everyone
doing.
Everyone else.
4 of those deaths we saw on broadcast at Dredge Anchor. 1 was getting slapped out of the sky by Bomb King during that Dragon Punch, and the 6th and final was just inting down mid when he thrusted into 3 people, and a 7th death racked up there quickly. Potts, you gotta take it easy, bud. Take it easy. If you're winning this hard and have the most deaths in the entire game, winning or losing team, that's, you gotta chill.
Well, he'll at least fourth damage in the game if we're drawing silver linings here. He's, just beneath some of the damage dealers for Eternity. Through time and space, won him a game on Brightmarsh. Has only found some damage here. This is another good spot to be fighting around the Fox, this church side. So very close and compact. Another good through time and space for Brackus. Answers out with Dishonor being cleaned up first. Eternity take that as their cue to peel backwards just a little bit. Holy shot. Not quite the same performance as Jag Falls. Nearly off the map. There goes G-Pan. I'd still die. V8 Potts.
There you go.
Corrects a death, finds a kill. Make it 2 for the Drogos.
That's all you got to do. Sit behind Con and just fire spit away, my guy. I think he's running Combustible, too, because I saw a big old knockback there.
I think he did knock not in this push. So it is Combustible.
Yeah, you can't be that aggro on Combustible. That's all. That's what you pick this talent to do, is just chill out and just fire spit away.
What happened? You hear the King Bomb start to roll. Dragon Punch could answer it out. He's going to fly through, look for a kill, and not a death this time around.
You can't be not sick on this skin either. It's the coolest skin in the game. Drogos has like all the best skins for sure. Well, Pirate Patch definitely threw in some
Ruckus's Pirate Patch
Ruckus's Pirate skin is
pretty
dope.
Great.
And it's not from this year, but Makoa's what's that like famous ghost
Cuddly?
ship? No. It's the ghost. It's the ghost pirate. The Dutchman. The Flying Dutchman. Yeah, that skin is phenomenal, and I think they realized that and said, let's make a patch around this skin and the theme here.
Wouldn't be surprised, because that's a good decision to be made, if nothing else. Of course, having Io on your team, if you look over at the items, she's a less cooldown-based healer, so she can move her way into some of those red items. You get a little bit of extra Wrecker, some Cauterize as well, and then if you look at Esports, they're forced into a little bit of Bulldozer, 2 and 3. Only 1, 3, 1, 2, but just a little bit. That's definitely enough to deal with it. But storyline to watch here. Can Eaststorm win the game, and can Pau continue his 20 streak and go undying? King Bomb tries to counter that out, finds the first one onto the con.
Well, Bomb King is probably the best man for the job when it comes to dealing with Con. Pau finds 1, 2, 3, another one. Back to 50% on Enlightenment, as the killing blow is also his to claim. 46% on the objective, but Eaststorm do it again with style.
Now you just got a zone. Through time and space could plug some damage. About half health onto the Makoa. The shell spin gets him out to
sheepish shell
safety.
spin.
Yeah, right. No, please, no. They're all fighting Banana here, grouped up around this Fox, but you got a lot of ground to make up. You can't just stay back and fight. You really need to move yourself forward here. Try to find a pick. Still have an overpower. Assert dominance is a great way to start off.
This is it. Potts, this is your moment. Everybody else is kind of running out of gas, plus he's got the kit to punish all of this stacking. He's got to get in there and cleave down a couple of targets, and I think he does just that. Out successfully. Very aggressive positioning, but that's, I think, what the situation called for. In this, and only this instance, nice Dragon Punch too. Potts, I think he just pulled positive. Let's look at that final slash line here for young Drogo.
Yes,
9 and 8, baby. Easy positive for my boy. And he's also got the emote boost down as the game is ending. That's high-level tech, high-style points there.
We take it all back. We take those. Absolutely. Big win there.
No, you still effed up the first, like, 3 rounds, but that last round was good.
I'm more forgiving. Nick is not. Good way to end the game, though, absolutely. I think Pau ends up undying throughout that one. The Leon, you know, sometimes the compositions are one way or another. I think Io leaves something to be desired as a solo healer, especially if you're going to be using her Fox kind of passively, and you're running, you know, lifelink in this case. So maybe something to be changed healer-wise. But sometimes it just boils down to Pau on a 26 streak at the end of the game, 87,000 damage, good for top. Very quiet game from the Vivian. 76,000 damage is good to contest. Actually, not bad. Bandmate had 90,000 healing compared to 120,000, though, from the Genos. I mean, you have to kind of compare healer to healer in that regard. But a big game here from XPow. Gets him a 19-0-7.
A lot of good stuff, I think, coming out of Pau today.
Yeah.
On the Leon. The Willow performance left a little bit, I think, to be desired. Just in terms of Faith Flight, but overall a solid day and a lot of different characters, too.
Yeah.
That's the big thing to break down from this man right here. And 2 triple kills in both mid-fights, back-to-back rounds in very stylistic fashion. Just love to see that type of performance. And I think we did a majority of the work this game.
Yeah, to say the least. V8 Potts, though, did some work towards the end. Not so much towards the middle. There was a Dragon Punch in that one. This one gets them their 3rd point. But whenever you get a Leon who is feeling free and clear to play this far forward, play this aggressively, and then also make good on that positioning, you're going to kind of have a bad time. I mean, everyone is focused elsewhere. You're maybe considering Potts up to the right, who did get hooked and killed in that replay, but Potts was just very fluid in the way he was positioned.
Almost all the work in all of those kills as well. Aim was crack shot today. I mean, really nothing else to say about that. Well played, I think, all around by Eaststorm. I liked that first round with Io. I think Goddess Blessing and play more of how they played in the first round, and I think Eternity probably could have got something going there on Stonekeep as well. There's still a lot left to be discovered with Io. I'm not ready to give up on that character just yet. It's going to be a fun show and a fun way to watch her evolve and watch the rest of this new patch play out. We're going to get it back to the desk, though, as the games have now concluded for the PCL.
Still a lot of room for Io to kind of showcase us what she has, but I think today she could have showcased maybe why she shouldn't be first pick potential. Unfortunately, there for Bandmade, 0-7 at the end of the game. And Kresnik, I mean, when it comes down to it, Pau going, 19-0-7 kind of shifts the balance of power towards Eaststorm pretty heavily.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Io first pick, there hasn't really been a first pick healer meta outside of sometimes when you really need Genos for your composition. It's really just not a spot you want to be taking your healer. It's just not consistent enough most of the time. There's a lot of power other places. Io, good concept, but it just fell off in the end.
All I remember is that, and I want to say it was maybe 3 weeks, but there was a 3-week period of ban Genos, take Maldamba, or ban Maldamba, take Genos. And, that's the only time I've truly seen, that's really the only times I've seen supports banned often, and the only time I've seen them either rise into that first, second pick spot. So as of right now, it's been good. Geno's still kind of hanging out up there since then, but hasn't been working for them. But Eaststorm are able to find themselves a 3-0, the fastest that any matchup between these two teams has gone, which is a pretty good showing for them.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely showed some improvement, at least in this new patch. I noticed a lot of the games today were kind of swingy. I think the only game on the other side that was taken the whole time was from Aaron Stush at the very start. So new patch, a lot of teams still trying to figure it out. A lot of swingy games as it settles in, but I could see teams kind of picking it up as things go on. I mean, Torv being out is a huge swap from how things have always been.
And I think tomorrow we'll probably see a lot more of that. But before we get to the future, let's go ahead and look at the past. What happened today? It's going to be a lot of 3-0s for some of these teams. You see, actually, the top of every region was 3-0. And other than that 3-1 that we watched earlier between Aaron Manor and Stush, it was 3-0s for everybody else. Onslaught over Heating Up, Cyclone over Bust Down, and as you just saw, Eaststorm over Eternity. So a lot of these teams either in the lead and staying in the lead. Some, well, not necessarily in the lead, but maybe kind of closing the gap between them and first as best they can. We can actually take a look at the North American standings, kind of see where some of those shifts has happened. Hype Unit, they get there, nice, not dropping a map. But with Eternity kind of going down there and Eaststorm winning, they are now moved up to second place.
Yeah, they're above classified X-Cats on Mars up to that position. I think, is that the first time they've been there, I feel?
Yeah, that's the highest Eaststorm's ever climbed.
Yeah, and that's great for them. I mean, that growth today, being able to win that swingy game on this patch, huge for Eaststorm, and hopefully they can carry that momentum moving forward.
Well, a couple of shifts here in North America. Let's go ahead and look back at Europe if you missed it earlier, or if maybe you saw it and you just need a quick reminder. Flashpoint, hot on their heels, Aaron Manor right behind them, then a pretty big gap. And even though set score 6-1, 5-2, 3-4, Bust Down kind of falling out of contention today in that conversation for maybe number one, the map differential in the Xbox region here for Europe is just kind of large.
Vroom have won plenty of games, but they have fought for it every single time.
Yeah.
Only 4 maps with 3 more wins than losses.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive overall. I think more impressive when you think about the fact that Cyclone 6-1, 15 plus minus.
Yeah.
In comparison to the 5-2, 4 plus minus means they've been able to kind of find more consistent 3-0s in the last few weeks. But it still comes down to it. I mean, a couple of these regions, like number one, actually in North America, number one right now is kind of above and beyond everybody else. Europe, it's not that case anymore. It's kind of backwards from what we are used to. And so Flashpoint still in a position to maybe get knocked out, and same thing here for Cyclone.
Yeah, I mean, we saw, Stush, the 1-6 team, were contending with Aaron Manor, who just beat Flashpoint last week, so you never know in EU, and they might have those strong top teams, but a lot of growth in the bottom there, and EU, it's all up for grabs.
Well, whether it's a coin flip like we had said for this last set or a roll of the die, either way, someone is going to be taking a win, and everyone is fighting for that number one spot to try and make it to their finals. Come to LAN, play for that, go forward, and then maybe eventually end up facing up against the PPL and the minor league teams. And the minor league, if you want to be able to catch up on them, is going to start tomorrow at 11 a.m. here at mixer.com/Paladins game for everyone here at Skillshot. My name's been Gormizer. That's Kresnik. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
SteelSeries, the official peripheral provider of the Paladins Console League.
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money. The pressure be calling. Left on my blessings. I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something. That's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression. It's all that I wanted. The phone and affection. I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money. The pressure be calling. Left on my blessings. I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage.